And hello, welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to politics and religion. We're not having Rachel Oates on right now. She is not with us. We will try to mend that soon. But even without Rachel, there is too much to talk about this week. We have stuff to talk about. So anyways, hi, Christy Santiago. How are you tonight?
Hi guys, I am doing well. Happy Friday, and we'll figure it out. And like with Ryan, we'll be like, I forgot, whatever it might be. So she will be on LEAH, just not at this moment. And, due to other unfortunate events, like, I don't know, all of life have unlimited and some things to catch up on that we've covered and we can touch on again today.
Yeah. So first things first, there's stuff going on in Hawaii. They're trying to build a telescope, which I'm all for telescopes. I love telescopes. If no one knows, I love space and stuff and looking at it. And hello, NASA, chill. All right. So, but there is an issue with to put up in Hawaii. Do you remember which mountain it's on?
I don't remember the name, and it is hard to pronounce. It is, I'm all for telescopes in science as well. Sovereignty, my neighbor's yard and just start building something. You wouldn't do that. You would get permission, and building building on a land that's not yours, we're big for myself. I don't believe that there are sacred things, but that doesn't mean that other people don't. And the people that own mountain, it is their sacred mountain, and there's just a lot of gray area. And the story that isn't black and white, a pipeline like no, and then on sacred ground is even more no. Yeah. But for something that I believe in, a really badass telescope, obviously I'm for that, but I am not for take the left that the indigenous peoples of this planet have, and just I'm not for it.
Right. So yeah, we have I have a little of the info here. 4 billion telescope. And it's a 30-meter telescope, and it's in Hawaii, tallest mountain. If I'm saying it right, Mauna Kea. I'm getting it close. But yeah, so Native Hawaiians believe it to be sacred, and it's there. So hashtag not all telescopes. God damn it. Yeah. It really sucks to see the way that they're being treated right now.
There's a lot of nuance. It's not black and white. There are where there are telescopes from the group that are now out of commission, and instead of being taken down, recycled, plant new stuff there, they just leave them and move on to the next one. And that's what another thing they're saying. We weren't asked. Nobody knows if we'd say yes or no. We weren't asked. But one of the conditions of saying yes would be these other ones that you to get them and clean them up. And there's some always say all of the main things that we need in life to be good people we learn in kindergarten. Please Thank you. May I? How do you feel about this? Just basic common courtesy. And I don't think that none was shown, of course, to Indigenous people.
Right, yeah, they were pretty thoroughly overlooked. They weren't asked any kind of permissions, and when they had previously, whoever's put in the telescope was denied that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's one thing that's going on. Um, I don't think it's being covered a lot, so I wanted to make sure we definitely bring it up here. And I also wanted to let people know that this is a bit related to that happened a few years back, because um, are in contact with each other, and there are. Do you know how many are coming to help protest right now?
Many Indigenous tribes are coming to help protest. I love that happened from DAPL, even though the ending of DAPL is hasn't ended completely, only bad news. Indigenous people that first thought of this tribe thought of this one as the other, and now they don't. They're the Indigenous people. One woman has a story of her family migrating from where it was colder to this country in 1205. Right, so there's a history there, and to push further and further, the same thing happened in Hawaii. And it's not, story is a lot different than DAPL, even though it has a lot of the same, just kind of, it's Japan, Canada, there's so many countries, because it is an optimal place to put this specific type of telescope. And like I said, nobody said that they said. They're saying they weren't even asked, and they would have contingencies, like you have to clean up these other ones to rot first. And it's something we're going to have to stay on as it develops.
Yeah, we're gonna have to follow it really closely, because it's really an interesting story here. And I'm worried how they're going to treat the protesters. It hasn't been great so far, but
No.
we'll come back to, like I said, it's interesting, and it's it could go, what happens.
Right. Compromise. If they're asked, and if they are taken not only into consideration, but brought into the drawing board, we know that Indigenous history goes in this nation have been left behind. How about if we force science, and automatically your tribes have children that are going to be in it, and we'll just bring them in. Let's be inclusive. You guys need to have this telescope there, like they exist. Work together. Big things happen when people consider the other as a person and bring them to the table.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
Cool. Would you like to move on to the next subject?
Yes.
There we go. All right. So I think the next thing on the list was the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund.
Yes.
So everyone can crack it. So ill prepared.
Coffee, of course. Coffee.
Yeah. My water vodka.
Sneaks up on you.
Yeah. The Senate passed the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund, and it was, what was it? Two no votes. Damn it! I had it up and I forgot yeses, 2 no's.
Right.
So it passed, which is amazing. So now that fund will be funded until 2092. Should be plenty of time. Because I mean they're running lower and lower on
Right.
people to.
They will age out.
They will age out.
It's the last thing that they should worry about is
really is the last thing they should worry about.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no matter what happens, I don't care if it's not related to what we know of as sicknesses that happen from them. If we know they are one of those first responders and they get cancer, it should be taken in.
As most people know who watch this show, we both advocate for Medicare for all anyways. But when
it's a human right.
It's a human right. Yes. So this should have been a no-brainer a long time ago. But if you put yourself on the line like this, like if you're serving your country for the sake of your country and the people in it, then you should probably be first in line, I think. I don't know. But call me crazy, but that's what I think. So I do want to go over a little bit of the information that comes with this. So the Senate has passed it, and they're saying on Monday, President Trump is holding a thing or whatever, and he's planning on signing the bill, and then it'll be done. Because he doesn't want to be hated for not.
Can't be a draft dodger and not sign something to help, first responders.
Right. Yeah.
They would start doubting him if he did that. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. QAnon would spin it as some. I don't know. I don't understand any of that.
Yeah. It'd be some mental gymnastics, sure. So I have some little I can't words today, guys. I'm real sorry. I have points to read on this. So the fund was set to run out by 2020, and it's affecting approximately 93,000 first responders and survivors still being treated and monitored 19 years after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. The tally of victims after 9/11 will eventually exceed the 2,977 killed on the day of the attacks. And wanted to point out Rand Paul. One of the 2 congressmen, one of the 2 senators who voted no on passing this bill, if you haven't already heard. So even Mitch McConnell voted yes. But he downvoted because he's worried about the deficit.
All of a sudden. Woke up and was like, oh!
He's worried about the deficit. That's the only thing he ever.
Except for when he's not.
Except for when he's
$1 bills.
Rich and costing billions of dollars in tax. So there's that. Yeah. But he wanted to put an amendment in there, and it was to axe funding to other programs before he would let this pass, and ultimately defeated 22-77. So.
Right, because it was cruel. Yeah. If you want to help these people who desperately need our help and deserve it, you have to take away help from other people who desperately need our help and deserve it.
Maybe we should stop trying to help people in Afghanistan. Maybe we should defund that and just bring our troops home. That's just a thought.
Right.
That's so maybe we could do that. But anyways, it passed.
Right.
Okay, and that's fantastic. That's really wonderful. So there's some good news, and I was hoping to give you this good news, and then I was able to. So hey, there we go. There's that. Next up, we have Ilhan Omar.
Mm.
And I had a smoother segue, which I should have done. One of the co-sponsors for this is Ilhan Omar, which is odd since she praises Al Qaeda and she's totally a terrorist congressperson. Weird that she would like support the first responders and like what all Americans to die, Christy. That's strange, isn't it?
It's very strange. I mean,
yeah, there's that. So I thought that it was really sponsor for this legislation, rather than just a supporter. So like it kind of shows you that if you look at someone's record, you can tell more about them than just what you hear on fucking Fox News or whatever.
right.
Speaking to that, there was a question the other day that Ilhan Omar got during a public event. I don't know where she was actually, but she was asked about. Let me see if I can pull up the exact question. But I do have her response for the most part. So the question was about Al Qaeda and like basically, shouldn't you like condemn their actions?
It was about FGM, wasn't it? Shouldn't you condemn FGM? And I'm Muslim because I do you ask Mitch McConnell if he condemns FGM? Do you ask? Yeah, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it.
That was phenomenal because I think that in this nation, especially, to say to the person who said the thing that is being claimed to be racist, the majority, that is personal. You said they are a racist and the conversation is done. So that out, because to ask only the two women who are Muslim these questions only of racism. I know, and it sounds so like it's not a big scheme of things, isn't? It's one thing.
Right.
And the fact that she's brave enough to call it out because it's never be asked, do you or don't you support FGM?
Right.
Like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
And it's something that every single senator should be asked if done in their state. And there are states in this nation right now where that is happening. Of course, a lot of it the girls get taken out of the country and brought back. It still should be stopped. It's still disgusting. I love that she I know she's getting a lot of crap from it. I haven't seen any of it. I don't even have to know she's getting a lot of crap from that because, like I said, people see that as her being racist because they can't get past the fact that she's not calling that person who just asked her that. She's never ever intended that. She's saying, isn't it a biased, racist thing to only ask me and the one other Muslim, do we support or can we condemn Al Qaeda? And then I love that she said, so I guess I should just start every day with, hi, I'm Ilhan, good day. I condemn Al Qaeda. I condemn FGM. I condemn terrorism. Now can we start our thing? I love that. I do. I love that. And I know it pissed a lot of pearl clutchers, like, oh, I can't believe it.
Why is she being so disrespectful about this? It was
right.
a relevant question.
No, let's just be real about it so that we can acknowledge it. So that we can sit in it. Comfortable? Yeah, it's fucking uncomfortable because all of us have done things that we look back and go, oh, we probably should have done that different. But being able to look at it, knowledge that we could have done it is how you learn. It's how we grow. And if we do it together, if we acknowledge each other's and stay friends and don't do it maliciously, it's how we grow. It's how we grow tighter and close. And how you learn to love people, flaws and all, I think.
Yeah.
I'm done being a mom.
I agree.
Such a mom talk.
You can't help it.
No, can't.
So yeah, as Christy said, she gave you the gist of what Ilhan Omar had responded with. I have the direct quote. She said, "How often should I make a schedule? Does this need to be on repeat every 5 minutes? Should I be like, so today I forgot to condemn Al-Qaeda. So here's the Al-Qaeda one. Mm-hmm. Today I forgot to condemn FGM. So here we go. Today I forgot to condemn Hamas." You know, I mean, it is really frustrating when that question comes up because just because she's Muslim, people think that, well, if she's an American, she has to condemn these things, right? And I haven't heard that recently, then she must not have done it. And it's silly and offensive. So I wanted to point that out because
I have to say though, to me, it's definitely from a point of privilege. Not you and I, but the person who says, let's just have way bigger things to. You don't live in her skin where she gets this every day. At some point, I have to speak for myself. At some point, I would have to say, okay, everyone, okay. Do I need to say this every day? Because I don't live in her skin. I don't get that every single day. And for me to kind of make it littler than it would be, to me, from my privilege of going in my life, that doesn't really mean anything, and we need to move on. So I'm glad that she called it out, and I had a moment of uncomfortableness because in that moment where I was uncomfortable, I was able to grow. It's that simple.
Right, and it's really important. More fair to these new members of Congress, because they are people of color, but that doesn't mean that their only focus needs to be on something related to their race or something
right. No.
That's something that I get from people like in real life. It's like, well, shouldn't they be focusing because of their just like, I mean, I guess in the past all white senators have probably focused more on white people stuff, but I think maybe we should.
I think, and for like AOC, her and who she was running against, she was the better candidate. For Ilhan, and who she was trying to unseat, she was the better candidate. It has nothing to effing do about the color of her parents' DNA, which then made DNA that color. I don't care. It just so happens that in this world where everybody is judged on who they fit in with and what they look like, and that the definition is othering or tribalism, very worst, racism. And we need to move past. Of course, we need to move past, but it's not conducive to not acknowledge it. You know, Dr. Cornel West has an amazing, it's called Race Matters, I think. Beautiful. And it's not what anybody who would if you immediately hear that and think, oh God, I don't want to read, that has nothing to do with me. You're wrong. You're so wrong. That's the problem. And I mean, why not read it if you think it has nothing do with you. What do you have to lose but a little bit of knowledge about something you didn't know about?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to be one of those people who said color doesn't mean anything to me, but I meant it from a good spot. I know now by saying a group of friends who are not do not have the same color of skin as me, to them that could make them feel marginalized. Like, what do you mean it doesn't mean? I never even thought of it like that, because why would I? I'm coming from the majority in this country. So I had to think, well, maybe it does matter. It does matter if myself and a friend is walking down the street, and if I'm walking down the street by myself and there's a group of older people, they're not going to put their bags closer to themselves when I walk by. But if my friend was the one walking by and that friend happens to be darker and they pull their purses a little bit closer, I'm not going to notice that because that doesn't happen to me, but they are going to notice that. And I can't even imagine how that would make me feel if nobody trusted me because of the way I looked. So race does matter. And to say that love sees no color, you're right. Love is unconditional and sees no color. But life, reality, the thing that we live in does. And it's okay to acknowledge it so that we can help to let everyone know that everybody's the same on the inside, and we need to acknowledge what has happened to people who look different on the outside, so we can be better.
Okay, I agree. So Omar is American.
Oh,
and such.
But, he is the American story. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And I wish I was as strong as her. I just wanted to say that.
No.
She's a beast. Very brave.
Very brave, and she just keeps speaking her
She
mind.
has a little girl. Have you guys seen her kids look at her?
Mm-mm.
Oh. I mean, water in their eyes. You can just see it. Their mommy is the mom. Yes. Mom. Yeah, it's pretty precious. Exactly. All
right. So our next fun topic. Not sure exactly how the conversation is going to go. Which I'm excited. If we could have a brief conversation on what each of us thinks about should we impeach the president, because we haven't really talked about this very much here. And Robert Mueller just went to it was all over the web, and I didn't much. I've heard he did say that he didn't exonerate the president. Right. So like they're trying to leave this window open for obstruction of justice, right? But also at the same time, Jimmy Dore pointed out things to where it looked like Robert Mueller kind of turned that statement or retracted a lot of it. So there's a little bit here and there on both sides. I'm like, did he commit obstruction of justice? 10 times.
10 times.
I heard it was 13 or something like that.
Could be like on paper we have 10.
Yeah.
10. There are 13, but 10 that most of the legal-minded brains who do this thing say that would be considered obstruction of justice. I am of the freaking mind on this topic of let's freaking do it or let's not. Either way, we have shit we need to do. So either make up your mind. I'm 100% okay with starting impeachment. What's it called? Whatever It's called well no, it's like a hearing. They start,
Okay.
setting people down, subpoena people to who would bring on an impeachment. They did it to Nixon, they did it to Clinton. Now, if they have enough for impeachment. So, do we have enough? Should we? It makes me crazy because by law, you have to actually sit down. You have to have an impeachment inquiry. That's what it's called. An impeachment inquiry by law. What are we waiting for? Let's do it. As of right now, he would never get impeached because Republican.
Right.
It just wouldn't. So there's no point in saying let's do it. I mean, let's just be practical and logical and critical about this. But starting impeachment inquiries would be legal and would be the right thing to do. And by the time that would be over, would be 2020 elections, and we would know if we would have the House and Senate anyway, which he would probably not be president anymore. So then it comes to, so do we spend the money on an impeachment inquiry that lasts all the way to 2020 when we don't have him anymore anyway?
Right.
All things that need to happen. I say that we can chew gum and walk at the same time. We are adults. There's no reason that a special group can't be set aside to work on impeachment inquiries while we have Bernie Sanders is still on freaking campaign and running in his state, doing all that he needs to do. Policies, AOC dropping policy, all of this at the same time. But the whole should we or shouldn't we? I think that it's a dumb question. Inquiry, or are we not? That's the only thing that I think that we should be worried about. And most the option we have, so we keep asking the same dumb question.
Gotcha. I'll put in the live chat. Should we question? Can we? No.
Right.
And Christy already said that we,
right.
We can't.
Right.
Right. We're not know that. We know that. So, I mean, I wanted a little bit on just, do we think it's the right thing to do or not? And it looks like from your viewpoint, you think that we should
only. And that's the only legal thing that we can do anyway. We can't start an impeachment without the inquiry. The inquiry is going to take a long time. And without doing the inquiry, we have no idea if we can or can't. And even if we could, sooner than we thought. But the Republicans still have the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, guys. Let's be real. No reason to not have the inquiry. Let's say we have the inquiry and it's the November elections and we get a new president and we don't even have to do it. However, that inquiry can be used. Remember, sitting presidents can't be indicted? Well, if he's not sitting no more and we just did this whole inquiry, we have all of this information that goes in our history books as well. Don't we want to know? I don't think he colluded with Russians. But he's a crooked, he's a bad guy. Everybody knows, just like to know for corruption. I don't want any corruption. The reason it would be so easy for him to hide all these things for so long is if there's other people involved in. I want everyone to know all of the bad stuff all these bad people have been doing to put money in their pockets and to make sure that and it's not even that they make sure that other people hurt by them making money. It's that they don't even look to see if it would hurt other people to make money. So I think an inquiry would be a good idea. I mean, we waste $11 million a day that we send to Israel of tax money. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, every bit of money that bank gets is taxpayer money. The World Bank, all tax money. There's a lot of things that this country and many other countries spend their taxpayer dollars on. Doing an impeachment inquiry would not be even a dent in our budget. And I as far as I think everybody wants to know. And it's not even if the end result is to lock him up. The end result is to know why this and why hide that, and who are you hiding from, and who are you getting money from when nobody would give you money. I mean, there's a lot of questions. And if we know these things through an impeachment inquiry, whether there's an impeachment, whether we elect a different president by that time or not, well, guess what? As a country, we can be out on the lookout for those things. Rappaport ran, what was his name? A port.
Oh, I can't think of it.
Rappaport, whatever. He was working for Turkey and all these. We wouldn't have known if we didn't go into the proverbial collusion. You know, a lot of people were doing. We have people in prison. We have guilty pleas for these things. I think, for me, checks and balances should never be underrated. I don't care who's president. I don't care what letters after their name. The checks and balances count for everyone. And if you're doing things that you think the national public who you work for shouldn't see because it would be bad for you, well, then I don't want you as a leader. Yeah.
Yeah. So I should we should start the inquiry, because I think Jack Uger makes a really good point. Like, even if we can't this president, which we can't, we still get everyone on the Republican side, like, on record.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Transparent. This administration is transparent. I mean, and it's bad. As far as the every White House has a book that has everybody who comes to the White House. It's, you know, it's part of this democracy. It's their visitor book. Well, Jared took it away. He didn't want anyone knowing who's coming at what time to meet with who. It took people stepping in and fighting back to get that book to be back up front. Like, just little things like that. That's those are not good right. Signs. So yeah, it's about transparency. It's about, if this is by the people, for the people, and you work for us, then we deserve to know what you're doing. And I'm not naive. I always have to caveat this. I know there's top secret. I understand there's top secret militaries. Not everybody needs to know all the redacted, but we need to know a lot of things, a lot of the basic things that we're being treated like serfs and they're kings, and that's unacceptable.
Right. And we need to have White House press conferences, right? We didn't go months on end without officially hearing from the White House, because Twitter doesn't really cut it. But yeah, I think that really said all I needed to say on it too. So there we go. Yeah. Not topic. We can go to community news now.
Yay!
I don't know if you have anything other than the thing you sent me. So I'm going to.
Yes. Doc Fearsome.
Yes.
Yes.
Doc Fearsome needs some wheels. His car died, so he just needs something to get to work. His GoFundMe in the live chat down below.
And we'll put it underneath the video too, so it will stay there in case anybody wants to come back. And I'm also going to be sharing the page and my Facebook page in case anybody needs to find it there, because I just love Doc Fearsome. I do. He's awesome. Such a sweet human.
He definitely deserves some help for sure.
Yeah. And if everybody does like $2, $3, $4, there's enough of us that will help him just get some A to B wheels. You know, you lose your job, after your car breaks down, then everything gets really bad. It snowballs. So if we can keep so that he can just keep going to work, yeah, he'll be good.
Yeah, if we could keep that snowball effect from happening, that would be wonderful. He's raised $415 already, which is great. The goal is 3,500. Anything helps, especially when you need something to go to work in. 'Cause you can't help yourself if you don't have the means to.
Right. Yes, everybody needs a little bit of help. That rugged individualism is a myth that we have been sold, and like free soup in a bread line. And it's unfortunate because we all need help. I'm a loner. I love to spend, Stacy was laid off and home for 6 weeks, and I thought that I might need to take a hobby walking by myself for 3 hours a day because it was so much. She's my favorite person. I love to hang out with her. That's always what I want to do if she's off, is hang out with her. But so that's not what I'm talking about. Rugged individualism. The myth. Nobody can other people unless you are just somehow independently wealthy and can order everyone around, which I know exists. It has to. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking rugged individualism is it's a myth, and it's a community of people will always do family out in the middle of nowhere. We need each other. And the more we understand that we are the bosses in this country, that we are the ones who pay the bills of our leaders, that we choose our leaders, that every 4 years in the United States of America, government, if you start thinking, it is awesome. It does feel like, oh wow, I do have a little bit of power. A little bit. We all have a little bit. We each get a vote. That's it. But we also, as a community, can come out together. Have you guys been watching Puerto Rico? We're so fucking proud of them right now. They went out in the streets and would not go home. And this is happening all over the place. I think that in this country, right after the 70s with the anti-war, was to make it so that we're so comfortable. It's just, why would I want to go out and protest? I have everything I need here. My family's here. We worked hard all week. We get to just this 1-2 days to relax. No, maybe next, because it's not to the point that everyone's hurting. And Puerto Rico decided, well, guess what? It's at that point. And they got in the street and things are happening.
Yes, huge crowds.
Huge. Huge.
Huge.
Huge.
Big.
Right. And so as with my fellow brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, I also don't know if you guys know, hopefully you guys are all informed, being that you're all here. Puerto Ricans aren't allowed to. No. Guam, American property, not allowed to vote for president. So even though they have to deal with the House, they don't get a say. So we have a lot of work to do. And I think Puerto Rico, they see what just happened. The last thing they want is Puerto Ricans being able to vote because they are on fire right now. Yeah. So, yeah, I stand behind them for sure. It's amazing. I had goosebumps watching. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's that. The last part of community news that we need to update everyone on is Christy's gray area.
My gray area.
Everyone wants to know about it. Everyone always asks after the show.
Oh, let's see if I can turn this on and make this bright. Okay, that one's good.
There we go.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
It's coming in awesome.
And if you see, like right here, I have white. I have a dark stripe. So I'm going to have one dark stripe through my hair. The rest is all going to be silver. Yeah, silver. But today is 9 weeks.
9 weeks?
9 weeks.
Awesome.
So only 2 years.
That's all.
But then in 2 years, I will have like some serious kick-ass superpower hair. I will have silver hair with a brown stripe in it, which most women have. Yeah, I went reverse mohawk, I think. Of course, my hair has to be the opposite. It's mine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. And then my daughter just put. Let's see.
Izzy's awesome.
Yes, Izzy's adorable.
Yeah. All right. So I believe that's all we have for you tonight. Again, sorry everyone for failing to get Rachel on here. I apologize. On a date, and then everything else didn't quite get set in stone. I think.
I hope she's okay. Like,
I'm sure she is. I think the last few days she's been real busy trying to get a video done, so she wasn't on Twitter like the last 2 days, like at all. So I think she and when I was trying to get a hold of her, she was trying to stay away from from Twitter, but that happens, and that's all right. So we'll work something out. We'll get her on. Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And
RB is say I love you, RB.
Oh yeah. Thanks for coming again, RB.
Yes. Very informed. I've been chatting with RB in political chats for a few years now. So
that's awesome. I'm very glad to see
you. Yes. Good stuff.
All right, everyone. And we'll be back next week with something or another thing. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Close this out, Christy.
Nanu. Stay humanist for God's sakes.